guys, I am Vishali Kikant and now we are moving to the next unit, that is equilibrium. So today we are going to start our discussion with the first topic, that is equilibrium and the rate of reaction. So we are going to see how the equilibrium condition is affecting the rate of reaction. So now this we are going to understand with this reaction where hydrogen in gaseous form is reacting with iodine in gaseous form to form 2HI, right? So it is also in the gaseous form. So now here if I see the reactants, what are the reactants? H2 and I2 are the reactants. If I see the product, this is my product. So now what will happen to the reactants? Initially I just have only the reactants. Reactants will react and the product will form. So if I see the concentration of H2, the concentration of H2 will decrease when it is getting consumed up to form the HI. So concentration of H2 will decrease at first until it has reached to the equilibrium. At equilibrium, the concentration of H2 will become constant. After equilibrium, the concentration of H2 will not decrease. Coming to the concentration of HI. Initially, what was the amount of HI? 0, because H2 and I2 was not reacted. So when it started reacting, the concentration of HI will start increasing from 0 up to a constant value at the equilibrium. So now here you can see the concentration of H2 and HI with respect to time. So this is the concentration on the y-axis, the time is on x-axis. So if I see the concentration of H2 is decreasing. Now at this line represents the equilibrium. So at the equilibrium, the concentration of hydrogen will reach up to a certain point, after which it will not change, it will remain as it is. Now if I see HI, the concentration of HI will increase from 0 up to a certain value at equilibrium, and after which it will remain constant and it will not increase after that. Coming to the forward and reverse reaction rate. So if I see before equilibrium, this is the point before equilibrium, this is the after equilibrium point here. Similarly here, this was the before equilibrium and after equilibrium point. Before equilibrium, what will happen? The forward reaction rate will decrease and it will reach up to a point where it will not change. Now after that, the reverse reaction rate will increase. If I increase in time, so if I am increasing the time, so the reverse reaction rate is increasing, whereas the forward reaction rate is decreasing up to the equilibrium. At the equilibrium, the rate of forward reaction will be equal to the rate of reverse reaction, and this is how we can observe the change of rate of forward and the reverse reaction as a reversible reaction reaches the equilibrium. Now coming to the liquid vapor equilibrium. What is this concept? Here we have understood that we have a substance. Let's take any liquid substance here. So let's suppose we have the bromine in the liquid state. So when I have the bromine in the liquid state, initially it will be all the particles will be in the liquid state. Then what happens? After a certain point of time, some particles will move to the vapor state, right? So there will be some collisions in the liquid molecules and they will escape to the vapor state. Now when they are reaching to the vapor state, they will start hitting the walls of the container, and when they start hitting the walls of the container, they again will get condensated. So when at the condensation, what will happen? The vapor will again convert into the liquid state. So now the equilibrium state is reached when the amount of formation of the liquid molecules to the vapor molecules is same as the amount of formation of vapor molecule to the liquid molecule, right? So equilibrium is attained when the rate of evaporation means liquid converting to vapor, it is equal to the rate of condensation, means the vapor converting into liquid. So rate of condensation, when it is equal to the rate of evaporation, we have the dynamic equilibrium. Now if I see the rate of vaporization, when the rate of vaporization is equal to the rate of condensation, that is called the phase equilibrium. Now coming to the Le Chatelier's principle. According to the Le Chatelier's principle, if a system at equilibrium is subjected to a change, right, any change, temperature, pressure, and any change, the system is, it was initially at equilibrium, now I am putting any change in this system, the position of equilibrium will change in order to minimize the effect of the change. So now I have to change the position of the equilibrium if the system at equilibrium was subjected to some change. So now let's understand the effect of temperature. So now we are going to understand this with the help of an example. So at 298 Kelvin, if I see HI molecules, so in this reaction 2HI is in equilibrium with H2 plus I2. So if I see this reaction at 298 Kelvin, so we have the HI molecules are 28 times H2 plus I2 molecules, right? So here if I see the concentration of 2HI, it is 96.6, whereas H2 plus I2 will be 3.4% only. Now if I increase the temperature at 700 Kelvin, if I again observe the HI molecule, now it is just 7 times. Initially it was 28 times. So if I am increasing the temperature, what is happening? The HI molecules is decreasing. So here you can see, here it was 96.6%, here it has reduced to 88%, H2 plus I2 has increased to 12%. So now what is happening? As I am increasing the temperature, equilibrium position is shifting to the right, so at the right side the equilibrium position is shifting. At the lower temperature, the more amount of product was here at the left. At the higher temperature, the more amount of product is here at the right. So at the temperature increases, equilibrium position is shifting to the right. So we can understand it with this diagram as well. 2HI is in equilibrium with H2 plus I2. Now here, if I have to move in this direction, it should be an endothermic reaction. If I have to move in the reverse direction, it should be an exothermic reaction, right? So now coming to the heat reaction mixture. What is the heat reaction mixture? The heat reaction mixture, the position of equilibrium is shifted in the endothermic direction. So whatever the endothermic direction is there, if you heat it, so it will be, position of equilibrium will be shifting in that direction. Coming to the cool reaction mixture, it is the position of equilibrium is shifted in the exothermic direction for the cool reaction mixture, right? Coming to the effect of pressure, how the pressure is affecting. So as the pressure is increased, equilibrium position shift to the side of the fewer gas molecules to minimize the effect of change, right? So we are going to understand it with the help of 3 examples. So here we have 2SO3, which is in equilibrium with 2SO2 plus O2, right? So now here, as the pressure is increased, here you can see, here we have only 2 molecules of gases. Here we have 2 plus 1, which means 3 molecules of gases. So now here, if I increase the pressure, where we have to move? We have to move to the left side, to the fewer number of gas molecules. Here the gas molecule was 2, here it is 3. So I have to move towards the fewer molecules, that is this left side. Here if you see, here I have 2 molecules, here I have 1 molecule. So I have to move to the right side if I increase the pressure. So as the pressure increase, equilibrium shift to the right side. Here if I see 2 molecules of gas, here we have 1 plus 1, that is 2 molecules of gas. So as I increase the pressure, there will be no effect on the equilibrium. So I hope you understood all of the 3 and the effect of pressure with the help of these 3 examples. Now coming to the effect of concentration. Again we are going to take an example here. This is a reaction where 2CrO4, 2 negative, aqueous plus 2H positive. 2H positive is representing any acid, is in equilibrium with Cr2O7, 2 negative, which is orange in color. Cr2O4, 2 negative was yellow in color, and here we have H2O, right? So now here if you can see, this was yellow in color and this is orange in color. So if I increase the amount of acid, so here if H plus concentration is increased, so what will happen? The equilibrium has to shift in the right direction. To compensate this with the help of, I can understand this with the help of Le Chatelier's principle, right? So now if this is increased, equilibrium has to shift in the right direction. So if the OH negative is increased, which means the acid concentration is decreased. If obviously I increase the base, acid will decrease and I will be having more number of this concentration, so as to compensate the change in the equilibrium state. So I hope you understood this. Coming to the catalyst and equilibrium constant. What is a catalyst? Catalyst, we all know it is increasing the rate of reaction without getting consumed itself. So catalyst increase the rate of forward as well as reverse reaction in the reversible reaction, right? So if the equilibrium position would be there, so catalyst is going to increase both side of reactions. The presence of catalyst does not affect the position of equilibrium. This is a very important point and you should understand this. It is not affecting the position of equilibrium as well as the value of equilibrium constant. It only reduces the time taken to reach equilibrium. So equilibrium will be coming at the same point with the same equilibrium constant, but the time would be reduced. How it is doing that? With reducing the activation energy. So now this was the potential energy versus reaction coordinate graph. So EF represents the forward activation energy, EAR represents the reverse activation energy, right? So now you can see we have the forward activation energy and the reverse activation energy for the reactants to coming and the forming the products. Now here with the help of catalyst, this is the catalyzed reaction, right? So blue one is the catalyzed reaction. Here you can see EA-F is the forward activation energy, which is lesser than EAF, right? So this is lesser than EAF, which means the forward activation energy has reduced with the catalyst. Even the reverse activation energy has reduced. It has reduced from this point, right? So this is the additional reverse activation energy, and with the help of this we can understand the catalyst and the equilibrium constant. I hope you understood all of the things. Thank you so much.